Hey, what's up, everybody? You guys hear me? How y'all doing? Welcome to the stream. The last live stream discussion for RWBY Volume 8, Chapter 12. Thank you guys all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Yeah, this was a chapter, eh? I'm laughing right now, but tomorrow's reaction, I'm an absolute mess. I'm not looking... I'm... This fucking chapter, dude. The craziest thing, too, is that it's been such a long time since we've been led down this path. right? Like, I think this is like comparable to like Atlas fell, literally. Beacon fell, or the tower fell rather. So I feel like these kingdoms falling are just going to, like, Mantle dodged a bullet, but I'm wondering how things are going to fare for Vacuo, because Atlas is the most, like, it's at the bottom of the ocean now, but it was the best stronghold of the world, and yeah, so now we're kind of screwed. We're going on a detour, though. The end credit scene got me super, super excited. I have a pretty sound theory on what we're going to be getting into for Volume 9. And I'm pretty sure Volume 10 is where we'll jump into the Vacuo arc. So, but yeah, thank you guys all so much for tuning in. We have super chats coming in already. Oh my god. All right, so let me get through a couple of these first, and yeah, I'm gonna start in maybe like 5-10 minutes. Let people tune in, and so no one misses anything. We have the content that everyone's actually here for. This will also, as always, be at the end of the stream, along with the final opinionated pointless polls for season 2. So I've really enjoyed doing those. I only do them when Ruby's around, because like that's the only time I do like these live stream discussions. So yeah, we started doing them for Volume 6. Oh, no. Was it 6? No, Volume 7, technically. We were doing them on and off during Volume 6, but Volume 7 was where it became a staple, and that was Season 1. And then Volume 8 was Season 2. And then next year for and then Volume 9 it's to be Season 3, and so on and so forth. So, also, I'm drinking a Red Bull, don't mind me. Brian von Vorst. Hope I pronounced that right. I'm going to tell you this right now. I scared my fiance with how much I hysterically cried at this episode. I'm still shaking from it. Not until now has a show done this to me. Hashtag, do hugs always make you feel this warm? God damn it. Don't get me started now, all right? Like, I'm over here just trying to have some good times with chat. We have to get through the episode. I gotta make it through this alive. But yeah, this episode was terrible. Like, I don't mean terrible bad. I mean, like, it was terrible for me to watch. Like, I was just an absolute, like, mess the entire time. Especially because of the death warning at the beginning. That made it, like, I was already anxious, but then when I saw that made me a million times worse. Like, I would have been so much better. I mean, I feel like I would have been a lot better at the start if they didn't show that at the beginning, because I was already just like, who is it? Like, I'm expecting everybody to die at this point. Hunt, gonna be a long hiatus. I'll miss you, besties. And Chaircoon, of course. Yo, who watched the Chaircoon video today? I was not expecting the reception of that video to do so well, but a lot of people messaged me telling me that it was really creative, and a lot of, like, originally I was thinking of just putting Chaircoon in the video for 8 minutes with silence, and then I was like, it was supposed to go out yesterday, it was supposed to be yesterday's April Fool's joke, but then I was like, that's so fucking boring. Like, people are gonna, like, skim through, realize that there's nothing there, and then move on. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna put a bit of effort into this. So I did, like, the voice. I didn't do the voice, but I got a voice generator. I literally, you know what it felt like? You know what that video felt like to me? It felt like I was creating my own character. Like, I was creating, like, lore and giving him a personality and giving him, like interests and hobbies and things that he enjoyed. It almost felt like, I've always heard, like, D&D's kind of like that. Like, you create your characters, you go on this journey and stuff like that. Like, I've had so many experiences with my Twitch community, and so I feel like that was what I was doing. I was actively thinking, okay, so he's got a name. What is he like? What's his favorite color? What's his favorite memory? Does he have a favorite game? What are some experiences that he can harken back to? And so it felt like I was, like, making a character, which was really exciting. Look at the Volume 7 OP. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Penny was, the same white background of Penny when she's like, salutations to winter. That's the exact same as the Volume 7 intro. So yeah, I mean that's part of the story, you know. I mean, not part of the story. It's part of the plan for them when it comes to, you know, writing the show. They know what they're going for seasons ahead. Hold on, let me see. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to get through all these super chats. I was not expecting this many before we started. Now with RWBY Ober, have you thought of watching other series like RWBY Abridged or Abridged? But I don't watch Abridged series personally. I have nothing against people who do that. It's just never been an interest of mine. Because I know you mentioned RWBY Abridged, and then you mentioned DBZ Abridged, and then you mentioned Machinima series, Gordon Lai. Thank you for the $10 super chat, but I have interests in other things after RWBY, now that RWBY's done, I should say. But no, personally, I don't really watch Abridges. Peebo, this whole episode was chaotic. Absolutely. Hey, does Arnold read chat? Vinny Dracula? I try to. There's already 600 people in here, so I try to, you know, gander at chat whenever I can. I also want to make sure I keep things going with the discussion because this is, you know, I don't want to be rambling for hours and hours and hours on end with no goal and with no end in sight. So I try to. Killswitch 130, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. Enjoy your RWBY emblem, your emotes, and if you link your YouTube account with your Discord account, you'll have access to your Twitch server. I mean, to my Discord server. So I hope you enjoy that. I saw somebody in chat. I got like tongue-tied because I saw someone in chat ask me how many water bottles I have. So I do have 3 water bottles, but I'm drinking I'm drinking a Red Bull right now, excuse me, because I didn't get that much sleep yesterday, and I've been like up all day. I was still prepping the stream today because I've been like taking my time with it. I just ended up taking a shower too. So I've just been like on autopilot for most of the day, so I kind of need a little motivation, liquid motivation to get me going. Immaculate Toast. Hey, Murder. Glad I could catch you live again. Do you think Neo will actually join forces with Team RWBY and Jean next volume, or will she play the part of the villain? I think for Neo, it's going to take her a while to come around. I'll get more into it when we get to the end credit scene, of course, but I do think that Neo is going to take a bit of convincing because she knows that Cinder betrayed her, but that doesn't automatically wash whatever gripes or grudges she has with RWBY, but that might take convincing because Cinder has, you know, twisted the story to make it seem like RWBY was the reason that Torchwick died. So I think I feel like what would be really funny is if it's like, if everybody in the jungle is in like that on that island jungle area, and Neo is literally like the predator and they're all the prey and she's trying to like kill all of them or whatever. But we don't even know how this world works. I said it at the end of my reaction, but this is a completely different realm. Aura might not work. Semblances might not work. They don't have their weapons, or most of them. I don't think any of them have their weapons. So yeah, like we don't know if Grimm are even on this island. So like it's a completely different ballgame from what we understand the laws and the rules of Remnant. And yeah, basically like the laws and rules of Remnant, because that's all we've ever known. So we'll have to wait and see. Lily, thank you for the super chat. For the coffee manga. Yeah, so about that. Oh boy. But yeah, there's a lot of things they can do. I believe E.C. Myers is working on another book actually, so we might get that. I think we might get that later this year. I don't know if it's adding more stuff before we go to Vacuo. But we'll have to wait and see. Volume 9, I see Beach Time. Yeah, the fabled RWBY Beach episode that we've been asking for since the show started. We've never been able to get a beach episode, but I think things are going to be way too emotional and way too like crazy. Like people are going to have questions and they're going to be all confused, and this is right after the aftermath of Penny dying, and they have to address that and figure out how to get back to Remnant and all that other stuff. So I don't know if there's going to be any like fun in the sun time personally, but I don't know. I'm hoping for it, especially because, you know, but I don't know. I feel like it's just not appropriate. So we'll have to wait and see. Kirsten Love, I just picked up a second job and I'm working 2 10-hour shifts in a row, so I'm going to rest and watch later. Wow, don't work yourself too hard there. But this episode was really heartbreaking, but so amazing too. Y'all have fun, and Arnold, take my money. Thank you, Kirsten. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoy the VOD after the fact if you're watching now. Thank you so much for the support. I hope you enjoy tomorrow's reaction, and don't work yourself too hard. I've been there. I know what it's like to juggle 2 jobs. Final Stardust. My boy Jean just went through the... Wait. Oh, my boy Jean just went through it this chapter, man. Yeah, Jean's another one, too. There's just so much. There's so much these characters have gone through. Especially Jean. And it's just... Another hurdle he has to overcome. Alaska, thank you for the $15 super chat. They were able to save Manto, but only at the cost... Okay, that was kind of clever. They were able to save Mantle, but it only cost them a penny. Too soon, guys. Too soon. Too soon! Oh, man. I thought... Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Hold on. I was literally about to read a super... Okay. I thought Chair-kun was gonna react to the first episode of RWBY or something. Yeah, I don't know how... I would have to put a little extra work into the dialogue there, but yeah. I mean, that took me all day yesterday to make, because I thought of, like, putting effort into it at the last minute, so that's why it came out this morning, because I was working on... I had to grab the clips, and none of that was planned. That was all, like, spontaneous last-minute thinking on my part. Past Witch 98, thanks for the $20 super chat. When Yang fell, it was heart-stopping, but when Crescent Rose fell, and I was like, Yang's alive. They're not going to drop Crescent Rose and not have RWBY fall as well. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, the intro kind of telegraphed that to us, especially after Ambrosius mentioned the whole do not fall. A lot of people in the community basically came to that idea. Like, obviously, they're not going to, they're not going to kill off. You know, and even Yang falling through, I wasn't necessarily sold on the death as much as it was like, where did she go? Is she able to come back? Kind of thing, because the death had really was just like it was almost like a Torchwick death. Like Torchwick had no fanfare. It was just like, hey, we need to find out how to get rid of this character. Let's do this, and now let's move on. And they really no fanfare, no nothing. They just kept the ball rolling with Torchwick, and he's a side character. So I'd expect a little bit more from one of the main 4 girls. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. Which do you think was worse? Penny's second death after getting a human body, or Jean? Well, here's the thing. I don't really like comparing because they're both kind of like traumatic and equally painful moments. Also, those are 2 in 1. Like, Penny's second death was at the hands of Jean to prevent the power from going to Cinder. So that's all kind of like one jumbled experience. But like, yeah, the death of a beloved character is something that I feel the viewers feel just as much as the creators, because like they breathe that character to life, and then the audience gets attached to them, and then, you know, they you know, there's this buildup of, you know, community support, fan art, you know, people using the characters in their OCs and stuff, like inspiration for their OCs, or what's it called, fan fictions and stuff like that. And then people that, like me, like I buy the merch, I always say salutations and stuff like that. I have Penny as my salutations alerts on Twitch. So the fact that, like, yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's so sad, because, you know, it's I don't know, like, a fictional character death is like permanent for the most part. And so to me, it's like, I don't know, it's a different kind of pain than because, like, I think it really comes down to like the level of investment that you have with the show and the characters, and like how much you immerse yourself in the show, and that's on a person-to-person basis. Some people didn't really feel as attached to Penny as others did during during the Beacon arc. So those people probably felt 100 times more attached, and probably felt a greater sense of loss for her character now, because they brought her back, they improved her character, like they gave her amazing characterization, they made her feel like a real person, they fleshed her out, they gave her a sense of purpose. They obviously, just having Penny back is a delight in of itself, and that led to where we are now with the finale. And so this was almost kind of like a second chance or a second opportunity. And I'm not saying they did that because of that, but this was always going to be the plan, because the robot was never a definitive, like, oh, Penny's never going to be able to come back. Like, that was always in the back of my head. Like, she's a robot. If anyone's going to come back, it's going to be her. But the second you turned her into a real girl, that's when the risks were presented. And that's the risk that they took in trying to save Atlas, save Mantle, protect the relics, and, protect the Maiden. So, you have to take all those things into consideration, and for what it's worth, I'm pretty sure a lot of people, have different viewpoints on Penny in general, but yeah, it was I don't want them to bring her back. Like, I have suffered enough, and like, if volume 3 was bad enough, but like, this was like genuinely heartbreaking. And yeah, that's the name of the game, and the intro even says it too. It's like some lives will end much too soon. Pyrrha died too soon, Penny died too soon, and I'm speaking from like the protagonist perspective. Like, these were like Pyrrha didn't even graduate, and and Penny didn't even really get to live a fully lived, like, a fulfilled life. I mean, fulfilling is subjective, but like, she didn't get to live a full life, is what I should say. Like, she barely got to experience what it was like to be a real girl. Pietro doesn't even know about it or anything like that. So I just feel, yeah, I'm rambling right now, but yeah, it's a tragic. It's just always hard sometimes to go through loss when it comes to characters in a show that you really care about. Kermit Clinton, wait, is the stream over? No, we just started. Hydro, thank you for the super chat. Ruby, where are you? San Diego. Hope you get the reference. Oh, where are we? I don't. I assume you mean where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, but other than that, I don't get the reference. Have you seen You All Right's video on Raven? I have not. I've not seen that video yet. All right, I'm going to get through the last couple of super chats, and then we're going to start the discussion. I tweeted about it, but I think there's a subtle reference to the tree in Until the End. Yeah, I did see that, David. That is kind of interesting if that is a connection. But, I mean, the songs are so, like, open-ended. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. Let's see. Malcolm, thank you for the super chat. This episode reminded me of Avengers Infinity War. I have never seen those Marvel films, so unfortunately I don't get the reference. Hi Taylor, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here for one last go about for the volume. Andrew Morez, for me, the impact of Team RWBY falling is less about whether or not we believe they died. I'm sure that's what I'm sure the writers knew we'd know better, but more about the characters' reaction. Seeing everyone break down into tears broke me. Yeah, I'll get into that too, because there's a lot of I don't want to like overly focus on that, but like there is this weird. There is this weird, I guess, community reaction to how things are playing out versus the end result. And some people are claiming that, like, the end result didn't matter in the end. Like, why did they do all of this if they were just going to lose? But then those same people turn around and are the same ones to complain that the villains don't win any, that the villains always lose, that the heroes always win, that the villains never get any victories. And it's like, well, then you give them a victory, but then it's all a part of the story. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to have wins, you're going to have loses. The heroes have to lose sometimes, otherwise it's just going to be an absolute curb stomp, you know? And it's the villains that matter need to win, right? Cinder needs to win. Salem needs to win. Salem's cohorts. Tyrion needs to win. Everybody else is kind of like an accessory, but they don't need a personal victory for themselves, you know, like Ironwood, like Adam, in my opinion. And I say Ironwood because he kind of became an antagonist as the show went on, or as these volumes went on. All right, so what I'm going to do, there's too many super chats, guys. I do appreciate the support, but we're 30 minutes into the stream, and I haven't started yet because I'm constantly having to catch up to the super chats. So I just want to say right out the gate, Tobias, Joseph, Shady Spot, Hydro, Alpha Heart, Taylor, Simply Beta, Chris V, Potato J, Black Omen, thank you so much for the super chat as well. Mets2128 and Anthony Lobcode, thank you guys all so very much. I will try to get through these super chats, if anything, at the end of the stream, but for these opening ones, when I put super chat on, these super chats disappear from my screen for some reason. I don't know why. It's a YouTube issue thing, so I do apologize. Hey Arnold, since today is the last discussion of Volume A, I just wanted to say thank you for all the content you make and for being an inspiration for me starting my channel last year. It helped me with my anxiety, and and how I see and hear myself. I've learned a lot. Yeah, it's well, first off, I'm glad to hear that you made a channel, and it's really great to know that I was an inspiration for that. Yeah, making a channel is interesting because, like, you definitely see yourself improving as the years go on. I've always said this, but if you're on YouTube for like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years plus, and you go back to your old videos and you feel and you think, and like, I almost feel like everyone will go back to their first video and just see how bad it is. Like, your first video will always be terrible if you continue to put work into your content and improve over time. Like, I cringe at anything pre 2016. And that's just because what I do now is so much better, especially how I talk on camera, how comfortable I am on camera, how I can present myself, and how I can, you know, kind of have a one-sided conversation with myself for hours if you let me. So yeah, it's a learning experience. It's fun as a hobby, especially when you first start, and I'm glad to hear that. So with all that said, thank you guys all else for the super chats. I promise I will get to them at the end of the stream like we did last week. So if you guys are willing to tune in and stick around, if you guys want to hear me respond to your super chats, I'd appreciate that. But I do apologize. There's 1,000 people in here. I'm one guy. I got to start this discussion at some point. So with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be starting the final live stream discussion for RWBY Volume 8, Chapter 14. Slow chat will now be applied rather. 39 seconds. Actually, you know what? I'll be generous for this finale. I'll go 35 seconds. There's 1,000 people in here, so I'm a little scared to put it any lower than that. So yeah. Alrighty. Slow chat is active. We also have the final poll that will be at the very end of the discussion as well. So that will be on YouTube and Twitter. Since Penny's death was at the same day as my grandma's funeral, this finale holds a special place in my heart. RWBY 1, Redhead 0. RWBY's like 4. RWBY killed Pyrrha, Penny, Torchwick, and then Penny again. So they're like 4. Like, they have 4 points now. It's like the scoreboard is 4 redheads and counting. Nora. Adam too. I mean like orange hair. You know what I mean? Like, oh well, no, because you kind of Pyrrha. Yeah, so I guess 5. Adam did have red hair. But yeah, so that's the tell. If you got red hair, you're gonna die. And they almost did it with Nora. They're like, we're gonna fake them out though. We're gonna We're gonna nearly kill Nora, but we can't do that to the community. Okay, so with all that said, let us begin. Okay, hold on, let me record now. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. Oh, fire truck just went by. That was like perfect. That was like oddly timed. I was like, all right, here we go. And then I heard it. Okay, let's turn that off. Turn this off. Okay. So first, before anything else, again, how does everything look? How does everything sound? Do you guys hear me well? Do you guys see me well? I just want to make sure before we jump in. You're good? Okay. Thank you. So first things first, what did you guys think of the chapter? Out of 10. As a finale. All right, so stack this up to the other finales. Where do you put it? 10 being the best. 0, 1 being the worst. Or 1 out of 10. I guess, personally, where do you put this finale? 8, 7, 9, 9, 7, 10, 10, 7, 9, 8. Okay. Seems like a pretty solid... Yeah, that was like the worst thing ever. Me asking this question, my chat's literally like... Oh, boy. An 8, a 9. Okay, so a lot of 8 to 10. 7 to 10s. Or 7 to 9s, really. There's a lot of 7s and 8s in there. So a solid 7, a solid 8. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Over 9,000? Oh, boy. I was waiting for it. Okay. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, I thought the chapter was, oh, I guess we'll talk about it. You guys will understand how I feel about it. So the opening scene after, how many chapters was it? Ultimatum? Was it Ultimatum? No. Well, technically it was Ultimatum that it was Ultimatum that the blast went off. So 4 chapters later, and Salem is finally putting herself back together, which kind of makes you wonder if she's putting herself back together now. Like, has she just been like, has her components just been like down to like a molecular level, and it's like, okay, let's put these atoms together, and you know, let's combine, let's take these all and put them together, and now we're getting some form for her too. Yeah, so she's been dead for a couple hours at the very least, at least an hour, because that was when Ironwood gave his ultimatum. So I would say at most with Penny, with Ruby's plan and all that stuff, I would say at most an hour and a half, 2 hours max. But yeah, I mean, that's... See, and this is the thing, too. Like, what you have to kind of apply to the show is that you can't simply look at this situation and say, well, I guess Hazel died for nothing because the victor's still... You know what I mean? Because, like, that's kind of like the end result mentality that Ren had. Ren was like arguing to Yang that it didn't matter what they did up to that point because look where the end result got them. But had they done nothing, things probably would have been so much worse. Had they done nothing, Atlas would have been destroyed, Mantle would have been destroyed, and they were still destroyed here, but you would have had thousands of casualties. You would have had deaths on both sides. You would have had, you know, if Hazel didn't do anything to stop Salem for as long as he did, Emerald probably would have died, and the whole gang pretty much would have. You know, because she was able to kind of, you know, completely like 1v6 the entire squad, and she can't die. So it took Hazel dying and being the sacrifice to buy them time to make up this plan, to see it through, to hope that it paid off. And for the most part, it kind of did, but there had to be some sacrifices. You had to take risks. That's like, as the last couple chapters ramped up, that's kind of like what the theme was for towards the end, was like, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. How are we going to create Penny? We don't know what this end result's going to be. We have to bring all the people from Atlas and Mantle. Let's hope we thought of everything. But the villains just, you know, Cinder was actually smart for once. She took some advice from her accomplices, and they got the jump on them, and they kind of created a situation where not everyone's going to make it out. And, you know, as a show, the one thing that I am kind of like baffled by is a lot of people have been making the argument of like, well, they brought Penny back for no reason. And it's like, and I know I'm jumping and talking about that at the very beginning, but that's kind of like what's rooted in this episode for me, is that like a lot of people have this mindset that because Cinder outplayed the good guys, because Salem now has 2 relics, because Mantle and Atlas were still destroyed, Penny died, they brought Penny back for nothing. And I'm like, I disagree with that wholeheartedly, because I think they're missing the point. The point wasn't to bring Penny back to have her be this character that can no longer die again. They brought Penny back to, first off, I would say more so than anything, to establish the fact that, yes, she was a robot. She can be rebuilt. They have the technology. You know, they're Atlas of all people. We understood from Pietro the relationship between him and his daughter. So we got, you know, some internal, I guess some internal development between her and her family and stuff like that. The people that she protects, the people she considers her friends. They did amazing characterization for her, because not a lot of people were able to attach themselves to Penny during the Beacon arc, because there was very little, right? Volume 1, she goes to the, you know, she's in like the last 2 episodes, right? So she has very little screen time. She's in like the last 2 episodes. And then Volume 2, she's pretty much she's pretty much like told to like not talk to anybody. She has a brief moment with RWBY about like what happened to her at the docks, and then you don't really see her again because she's at Ironwood side at all times until the Vital Festival tournament, and then she dies. So I think there were a lot of like not everybody's going to be able to kind of find that time to be like, okay, I like this character, I'm invested in this character, I want to see where they take her, because then they killed her in Volume 3. Now, you know, everybody's different. Some people did, myself included, some people didn't. So I felt like bringing her back was a chance to double down on, yes, characterizing her, making her feel like a more fleshed out character, giving her a sense of purpose, giving her a sense of agency, showing the audience that, yeah, she is a robot and not all decisions are completely on her. It was kind of like an autonomy kind of thing too, because in the very end, the first decision she ever made was to sacrifice herself. And that's kind of like that's like a human trait, right? Sacrificing yourself, you know, dying so that your kids can live, or, you know, dying to protect a loved one or a friend or whatever the case might be. And in this case, you know, she's been saying it since before they made her a real girl, right? When they were like, hey, RWBY, kill me and I can make sure the power goes to you. Like, she always had that quality of a real person. And the big thing too regarding Penny is that, you know, she was always a real person at heart. I don't really think it mattered as much that she became a human girl, like a real girl, because she always was a real girl. Like Winter even said it, you know, she was like, oh, you were the real maiden at heart the whole time. I was the one acting like a machine. And that's the thing too. They didn't make Penny into a real girl to say, hey, we made Penny into a real girl. They made Penny into a real girl because in the show, had they not done that, she would have died regardless. And the fact that the end result still happened, Penny still died, is you almost kind of disregard everything that Team RWBY and company were trying to do, which was they were trying to save her. They were trying to prevent her from using the relic for Ironwood and like for Watts. And yeah, like they still tried and they failed, but they were against the grain. Like they were going against opposing forces that were making things difficult. It created the risk. It created the suspense. It created the fact that even if she's brought back, because everyone had this weird mindset that, oh, they brought Penny back, she's a real girl now. Oh, no ramifications, no ramifications, no setbacks, no risks, no nothing. Penny's gonna be fine, everybody. And then she dies in the finale. The thing that I'm the most devastated by is that Pietro didn't know any of this shit went down. Like, he is wherever he is. I assume they put portals on Amity if him and Maria had to wait on Amity to land somewhere in the distance, or if the Aesops are going to go to Amity and pick them up and then go to Vacuo. But yeah, Pietro thought I guarantee you Pietro thinks she died when she fell out of the sky after the message went up for the Amity Communications satellite. I'm pretty sure that's what he thought the last time he would see his daughter was. He didn't know that she became, like, we didn't get that true definitive Pinocchio reference, right? Like, Penny became a real girl and Geppetto never got to see that. You know, Pinocchio became a real boy and Geppetto got to see that, but the inverse is that, like, yeah, Penny for the first time had a decision to make, and she made it for herself. The last 2 volumes, who was telling her what to do? Ironwood was telling her what to do. RWBY was telling her what to do. The Aesops were telling her what to do. Her father was telling her what to do. And it's so infuriating that I see people, like, present this argument like nothing mattered for Penny because she died. If anything, it should be the fact that, like, how she died is how she, like, that should define her character. The fact that she died protecting her friends, the fact that she died making a choice that was hers and hers alone. She went out on her own terms. She didn't go out dying from somebody else, and she was thinking about the bigger picture. Whereas Pietro didn't care about the bigger picture. He cared about his daughter. And so that's the thing, like that's what makes her a character, in my opinion. And so, yeah, like, I know I'm talking about this at the very start of the video, but, like, that's something that I feel went over a lot of people's heads. Penny is a character that from the very beginning, from the Beacon arc, was an anomaly. We knew that she was a robot before. Like, it's funny how they told us, like, they showcased her in Volume 1, and everyone's like, oh, clearly she's a robot. And I remember when Volume 2 came out, and she was like, I'm not a real girl. Nobody was surprised. Everyone's like, okay, like, tell me something I don't know. You know what I mean? But she was quirky. She was peculiar. She was very inquisitive and was just a delight. She was wholesome and honest. And her time was cut short during the Beacon arc, and that was something that we, the audience, and even the in-show characters weren't aware that there was any chance that she would be able to come back. And having her back in Volume 7 was I don't even know. It was pretty shocking because it's like, you're actually back, and she had, like, a new model and everything, and she was the same Penny that we knew. We understand how she came back, and they just doubled down on, like, okay, we're going to give you all of this character. We're going to make you fall in love with her. We're going to give her so much characterization, flush her out, give her a sense of purpose, make her a fucking maiden on top of that. So she's going to have all of these cool fight sequences. And then she's going to get wrapped up in this plan. She's going to get wrapped up in this, you know, in this whole feud with Atlas and Cinder's forces and Salem's forces and Mantle and Team RWBY and company. And she was caught in the crossfires of it. And I don't think that should immediately boil everything down to they brought her back for nothing. I guarantee you there are people that watched the Beacon arc and didn't feel much for Penny when she died, but now have so much more respect for her as a character, love her as a character, and are deeply saddened by the fact that she died to protect her friends and to help them, you know, survive. And I think that's what people need to latch on to a lot more than simply the end result of, well, there's no point in making her a human because they turned her into a human because she was going to die with the virus. But then she ends up dying a few minutes later, you know, at her own hand because of Cinder. But they completely forget the fact that the only reason that was a thing wasn't because the writers were trying to make her into a real girl. It was to circumvent the fact that if they didn't make her a real girl, she would have died sooner, the power would have gone elsewhere, and there would be no way for them to control the staff or anything. And then the villains would have got it, or Ironwood would have gotten it. So yeah, long story short, I'm really gonna miss Penny. The thing that I at least appreciate is knowing that there's more of her in Volume 7 and Volume 8. The fact is that they didn't just leave her in the Beacon arc with very little characterization, very little character development, and, you know, especially when I go back and rewatch the show, it's like, we got a glimpse of Penny during Beacon, but we really got to know Penny, Polendina, and Atlas. And much like Pyrrha sacrificing herself because she felt like she had a shot, Penny sacrificed herself for different reasons because that was the choice that she felt was best. Another thing, too, that you really have to, like, understand is that in that moment, too, Penny assumed that Ruby was dead, Yang was dead, and Blake was dead when they fell into the void. I'm not saying she threw her life away because Ruby's no longer alive, but she's thinking about those who are still around. You know, she's not out here like, well, Ruby's not alive anymore, so I have nothing to live for, so Jean, kill me so the power can go to Winter. On top of the fact that if Penny didn't sacrifice herself in that moment and transfer the power to Winter, Ironwood was just about to kill her because her aura was down, she was losing the fight, and it wasn't until the power transferred to her that she just like one-shot Ironwood and just dipped and went to go help Weiss and Jean. So again, Penny sacrificing herself doubles over because she sacrificed herself, gave the power to Winter, was able to fend off Winter. Gave the power to Winter, was able to fend off Cinder. Winter was able to live, and then Winter was able to go to Vacuo and protect all of those people who were being attacked by the Grimm. So, like, Penny's death came with so much payoff for the fact that there could have been so much worse that would have happened had she not made that noble sacrifice. And I think because Penny decided it for herself, it shouldn't be understated that it doesn't matter, because that's the only choice she's ever had since she's existed. And I think she has a right to choose, you know? So, especially being a real girl, you know what I mean? She's a real girl for the first time, and that means she has the right to human rights, and thus the right to choose. And she chose her friends over herself. She chose the bigger picture over the here and now. And I think that ultimately is what solidifies her as a character. It makes every decision that was made for her by the writers impactful. It makes all of the moments on screen all the more bittersweet. It makes the song Friend so sad to listen to, because initially I thought that song was a bop, and it is a bop, but I was like, oh, they gave us a really catchy, upbeat song to jam out to. But then you realize immediately after, when you go back and you listen to it with the lyrics, it's literally an homage to Penny and all of the times that she spent in the show talking about, you know, we can paint our nails and talk about cute boys and, you know, try on clothes. We can paint our nails and try on clothes and talk about cute boys.
Calm
and
down.
like
We're not here for your
that
money.
that is ultimately like, that's like a Penny tribute song that kind of encompasses everything that she was. She was a robot, but she had a soul. She was a person deep down who understood what it meant to be a person, more so than some people who were people that were just following orders, you know, like machines who couldn't think for themselves. And she did something very human, very real. She made a sacrifice. Like Pyrrha made a sacrifice. She had to try. She at least had to try, you know, and for different reasons. So Cinder didn't get everything she wanted, so that way some people can make it out alive. So at the very least, if she did die, she knew that it was on her terms and nobody else's. And so yeah, I just don't understand why so many people think that the end result of a character, especially if they die, invalidates everything they did, because what did it accomplish? What did Hazel do by dying and giving them 3 hours? He took Salem out of the equation, which could have been monstrably worse. It could have been so much worse had Salem not done it, had Salem still been around. This place would have been probably leveled an hour and a half sooner had that not happened. And so, yeah, it's just the domino effect. Like, everything happens for a reason. Like, they're lining up these characters, they're giving them their purposes, they're making accomplishments, they're making decisions with an end goal in mind. And I don't think that just because a character did something or a character turned out a certain way, it shouldn't immediately click in your brain that this isn't to my liking, therefore it's bad. Especially in the context of the show. You know, people are looking at the writers, but realistically, everything that's happening in show is kind of making sense, at least to me. But, you know, I could just be not even just to me, to a bunch of people are seeing it that same way. So, I don't know. I just felt the need to defend Penny Polendina's stance and the decisions that were made for her character over the course of this series. And the fact that, you know, yeah, she's a real girl. I guarantee you she is not coming back. I'd put a seal of approval saying that too, because, you know, she's not a robot anymore. You know, Pyrrha didn't come back. Tortrick didn't come back. I don't see Zombie Adam coming back anytime soon, unless, of course, you saw my tweet I made yesterday on New Year, on April Fool's Day. But yeah, I think Penny is a very fulfilling character. I think she, and you know what? All that stuff I just said is valid. And yes, they probably also had in mind to build up Penny, to be back with the fans, and to build up, like, this rapport with the character and the community and the love and support, and then fucking dunk on us in the finale to just be like, sometimes your favorite characters don't make it in the end. As a reminder, you know, because every so often, it's like, well, the villains always lose and the heroes always win, and there's no stakes, and you don't have to worry about anybody dying. You know, people just want, like, Weiss and Yang to just get killed off, just so that way they can be like, okay, now I'm invested. Now it's Team RWBY, or Herb, like Ruby and Blake. Yeah. Anyways, I'm done. I'm ranting at this point. Long story short, I understand what they did with Penny. I appreciated what they did with Penny. And her character is solidified for me. She is one of my absolute all-time favorite characters, right up there with Weiss and with Pyrrha. And, yeah, I absolutely loved her. Ramble of Birds returns. Yeah, I'm sorry that I had to talk about that at the very beginning, but I feel like that's, like, the biggest thing about this chapter was just the, like, obviously there's a bunch of other things happening, but Penny's sacrifice was the highlight moment of the episode. And then but then when you get into that, you have to get into everything that led up to that. So I did feel the need to talk about that first and foremost. And obviously the fact that, you know, there's a lot of naysayers and there's a lot of people that are saying things that I don't necessarily agree with. So I'm gonna present that my counter argument to those claims, and in a way that's respectful and just puts forth this idea that I feel that things are done in a way that do make sense and and do translate well into the universe and for the audience. So yeah. But yeah, so long story short, Salem's back in the picture, and she's slowly putting herself back together. Meanwhile, we had another stress. So there was a lot of stress. A lot of fucking stress. You had the people in Vacuo who are being, like, eaten away by the sands of time, and the Grim, and the freaking Sulfurfish, and the Ravagers, and the Sandstorm, and all that. You got Penny and company that are in the interdimensional portals that are like acting up and doing, you know, and like having to deal with Cinder and all that stuff. And then you have these two. And in my head, I'm like, someone's like, there's gonna be at least 2 deaths. Like, Ironwood's gonna kill Winter, Winter's gonna kill Ironwood, they're gonna kill each other, or some crazy epic shit like that. But it was a constant back and forth the entire episode up until the very end, where you see Weiss fall, you know, to Cinder, and you see Winter fall to Ironwood. And in my mind, in that moment, I was thinking, I think they're shifting back and forth because Penny is going to choose who gets this power. Who's she going to give it to? Is she going to give it to Winter so that way she can come and help and in this moment deal with Ironwood? Is she going to give it to Weiss, who in that moment could fend off Cinder and give time for Jean and her to go through the portal? And it was interesting too, because it was the 2 Schnee sisters that were in an altercation during that moment. So I thought it was really, really good. I really did like this fight. Obviously, I'm not, you know, it wasn't like, it didn't have its own time to shine, right? It wasn't like Gravity. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like a Gravity situation, or, you know, Tyrion versus Clover Crow and Robin in the alleyway. You know, it was happening alongside a bunch of other things. So I felt like if this had, you know, if they had an extra episode after this, I think they would have been able to really go all out with Winter versus Ironwood. But the thing, too, is, like, Ironwood's fought Watts. Ironwood's fought Team Juniper. Ironwood shot Oscar. Like, this man literally has fought every single person in this volume, it feels like. You know? He's fighting himself in his brain. So, yeah, I thought this skirmish was really great. I don't like the fucking gun. I hate the cannon. I feel like that is a major hindrance to his mobility, and the fact that and just how he fought Watts, it kind of makes me feel like this kind of makes him, like, limits him severely. You know, it's this giant hulking piece of metal that looks really awkward when he moves around with it. I think it's great when he's swinging it with one arm because, like, you know, all of that weight. But, like, when he's holding it in both of his hands, I just can't help but feel like it's a little silly. I would have much rather preferred his 2 regular guns and, you know, because he dual wields guns and she dual wields rapiers. And I think that would have been really cool to see, like, bullets flying and deflecting bullets and shit, jumping off of, like, these ice pieces and platforms and stuff. It could have been a Gravity 2.0 for all we know. But yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the weapon. Don't really understand where the hell it came from. It just came out of, like, left field out of these last couple of chapters. But yeah, the gun, is it, can we call it the gun? Because it needs the guns to fuel itself as a bigger gun. So, I know people are calling it the BFG, right? The big fucking gun from Doom, right? But first off, I've never played Doom. Don't come for me. I know, it's like, Arnold, what have you done? You haven't played Doom, you haven't watched Star Wars, you haven't watched Lord of the Rings, you haven't watched the MCU, you haven't played a ton of video games. Like, what are you doing with your life? I know Doom's had, like, a resurgence over the last couple of years, too, because of, like Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal and stuff like that. I know the games are, like, I know Doom's, like, an old IP as well, so I know it, like, it's probably, like, one of the first video games that I never played it, but it's, like, an early, I don't remember what system it originally came out on, but I know Doom's old, and so, yeah, I mean, I'm a JRPG fan, guys, so Doom, does Doom have level ups and stats and like 100 hours of gameplay? No, I guess I'm not playing it. PC Classic? Yeah, I didn't have a PC in my house until high school. So, sophomore year of high school, I should... No. My freshman year of high school. So, I went most of my childhood without a computer. That's why I was a console gamer growing up. Let's see. King Kalam, still loving your content. Can't wait to see a reaction to the finale. Yes, that is tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern. So non-first members will be able to watch the chapter and then jump over to the live stream, jump over to the premiere to watch that as well. Hi, Arnold. Would you consider rewatching your reaction instead of simply rewatching the show for your RWBY grand finale marathon? Off topic, I made an NPC based on you in RWBY RPG. Oh, interesting. No, I would much rather rewatch the show than my reactions. Like, I mean, it's me watching me feels incredibly narcissistic in my opinion. Maybe to go back and watch some of my first videos would be different, because that would be like, I'd be like assessing myself, like reviewing myself as a person back then versus now. But yeah, I don't know. I would just much rather, once the show reaches its finale, like its series finale volume, I do want to do like a weekend to weekend marathon of every volume and just go down memory lane and see the show that we all grew up at this point. Like by the time it ends, we can literally say we grew up watching RWBY, you know, because everyone was in a different part of their life, whether it was your teenage years or whether it was your early adult years or your full-fledged adult years and you're just an older adult than when you first started watching the show. Yeah, it's gonna be great. Let's see. Arnold, your stock dropped 100 points with that statement alone. My God, what have you been doing with your life? Turn off the stream and go watch Star Wars. Play Doom. Play some video games, for God's sake. Yeah, I do play video games, thank you very much. I don't know, man. I don't know. Movies and TV shows and video games and you know what's funny? That's what today's poll is. The finale poll is, what's your favorite form of entertainment? Video games, animation, TV shows and movies, or books, manga, comics. That's literally the poll for today. Congratulations, you figured it out, Highlander. So if you guys want to get your preconceived thoughts out there for the poll today, go ahead and do that. But yeah, video games is my favorite form of entertainment. And so I can't play every video game, but I've played pretty much every console that's come out since I was born. So I grew up in like the PlayStation 1. No, I grew up in like the SNES, Sega Genesis era. And, you know, PS1, PS2, N64, GameCube. I never played, actually, that's a lie. I never played an Xbox original. PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5, Xbox 360, Xbox One. I have a PC now. Wii, Wii U, 3DS, DS, Game Boy Advanced, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, the big fat gray one. Just the regular, I guess, Game Boy. Yeah, I played a lot of shit growing up. Anyways, Snaky Magica, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. I appreciate that. Thank you, thank you. You're the reason I started watching RWBY reactions. They're great, aren't they? I mean, not just mine, but there's a lot of people out there. I actually started watching so my first ever reaction video that I watched on YouTube. I don't think the guy's videos are up anymore, but it was when Attack on Titan Season 1 first came out. And it was the forest fight episode. That's all I'm gonna say, because I don't want to spoil anything. But it was the forest fight episode. And that episode, I was like, I have to see what people are saying about this. And this was when Season 1 was first airing, by the way. So this was like 6-7 years ago or whatever. This was around the time right before I made my channel, actually. Actually, it was right before I made my channel, because I made my channel like the week of the finale of Season 1, and then we had to wait 5 years for Season 2, and then I haven't watched Season 3 or 4 yet. But yeah, I watched the reaction to that episode of some guy, and he was like so engrossed in it. It almost felt like he was in the, like he was like, I was just like, wow, this is like so interesting. And, like, I vibed with it immediately because I was like, wow, like, I don't know. It just felt very, what's the word I'm looking for? It felt very, like, vicarious. Like, it was almost kind of like me watching that scene for the first time through him and his experience and understanding the same thing that he was experiencing and going through, mirrored almost kind of like what I was going through. And I think that's like how I think that's what's special about reaction videos, you know, but that's a double-edged sword, because a lot of times with reactions, and this is coming from someone who's been doing reaction videos since 2013, since like 2014, 2015, is that the beauty of a reaction video is that you get to relate to someone that you don't know through a shared medium, right? Through a shared show or game or whatever. But the double-edged sword to that is that you're looking for that shared experience. So if you come across someone who doesn't mirror like the emotions that you felt or your interpretation of a scene or what you took away from a scene, that's when it can kind of bleed into a little bit of toxicity, where some people will feel like that's why I don't like people like comparing people who do reactions, because it's almost like you're judging two different people who are very different, who have different, you know, experiences, who have different reactions to things. And I don't know, it's just kind of cringe to me, like how people are like, oh, this person reacted way better than that person. It's like, well, they're two different people. They're watching two different shows, so it's kind of weird to judge them on being different, essentially. And that kind of happens a lot in I guess in this medium, because again, it comes from a vicarious place. People want to feel a part of themselves in what they're consuming, whether it's a let's play of a game that they really like, or a show that they really like, or an anime they really like. They want to feel like they want to have that shared experience, you know? And maybe they forget that from time to time, or they let that, you know, they don't think about it all too critically. And very rarely do I see it in my community, but there's been a lot of people that, you know, they've stopped doing reactions altogether because of the pressure and the expectation. Like, that's weird too. Like, people expect you to react a certain way, and if you don't, then it's like, oh, well, they're not good or whatever. So I don't know. That's a little weird to me, honestly, given that I've been doing this for a few years now. I've always valued, if anything, I value more than anything people who have different opinions than me and don't think the way that I do. It's why I kind of watch a couple of good faith people in the community who make critiques about RWBY, because that's something that, like, I don't just want to constantly be surrounded by things that I agree with. You know, sometimes it's good, but I'm always down for having, like, a conversation about things that I may or may not agree with, or explaining my perspective of something that I think makes sense or is done right or whatever. And that happens a lot in my Discord, especially. There's a good friend of mine, John. We go at it so many times because, you know, Aura is a big issue for him. And I'm taking my shoes off, by the way. Aura is a big issue for him. And I like to just, like, rile him up. But we always get into these, like, in-depth conversations about Aura and, like, breaking it down and like, how do we make sense of it, and where it does make sense and where it doesn't make sense. And I don't know, it's fascinating, and there are valid points. There's definitely valid criticisms. There's definitely inconsistencies when it comes to Aura in the show. No, not John, John. So, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. And I guess it comes down to the right person, because he and I are friends. So we understand that if we get into it, there's not going to be any type of lashing out or passive aggressiveness or anything like that. You can never really tell on social media or with people that you don't really know on a personal level. But yeah, I definitely, I don't know. Like, I kind of like talking about things that other people have a different opinion on. It's just that when things get too fierce, where people are unable to kind of open themselves up to... You know what I think? I think people need to also normalize admitting when they're wrong. I don't see a lot of people do that nowadays. Like, admit, like, legitimately, instead of doubling down on something because they're afraid of, like, being wrong. Like, it's not a problem being wrong. But yeah, he and I are fine with admitting, like, where we think things are bad or things are good, or where our viewpoints can change. You can change your mind. I'm giving you permission. You can change your mind when presented with new information that counters whatever you previously thought. You are not fake. You are not a flip-flopper. You're a person, okay? I don't know if anyone's told you that, but I'm letting you know. It's okay. But yeah, I also didn't respect how Ironwood just fucking pistol whipped Winter there at the very end. I'm like, okay, she literally has to, like, beat his ass now for that one. So, while that's going down... while that's going down, man, we got the main event over here. And it's so... like, Nora and John are there, and they're helping people, and that's their main priority. But I feel like things could have been so different had Nora just gotten to the action, or if John got into the action sooner. But priority one, getting people to safety, no matter what. And they did. Like, at the end of the day, that's what matters more. Like, by the end of it, there was nobody here but the gang who were fighting here. So, in my opinion, everybody from Mantle, everybody from Atlas, were able to make it through, right? When the water came rushing in, you didn't see anybody in Atlas. When Atlas hit Mantle from the ground perspective, there was nobody on the streets. So they did it. Like, they did their job. They did their duty as huntsmen. They protected the people. They didn't sacrifice anybody or leave anybody to die. But that comes at a cost, and that was a cost that Ironwood was willing to pay in killing off an entire part of the kingdom that he doesn't really consider worth it in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, I mean, there were pros and cons to both sides. It wasn't like Ironwood's plan was foolproof. It wasn't like Team RWBY's plan was foolproof either. And I think that's something to consider as well, because, you know, Ironwood's plan would have meant, like, okay, people would have died on his order, and RWBY's plan was, we'll try to save as many people as possible, but the villains ended up getting the things that they ultimately wanted. Now, this doesn't spell the end overall, because the last question was used, and Salem still doesn't know where the beacon relic is, and now she can't ask Jin for that definitive answer. So if anything, they're going to be stalling for a very long time. But at the end of the day, I do think that, yeah, Cinder didn't get the maiden power. They have 2 relics, one of which is kind of obsolete at this point. And I think the big issue is going to be whatever Salem decides to create. That is where the true, I think that's where, like, that's where the effects of, like, the second, like, their plan, like, the con of RWBY's plan is going to be felt. Is, like, whenever Salem does something with the staff to help out with whatever she's trying to do. God fucking forbid she makes newer Grim with the staff. You know, she shows Ambrosius, hey, this is the Grim, and this is what I want you to transform it into, and then he just makes an army of it or something like that, and she just sicks it on Vacuo. Yeah, because that's, you know, she's got the pools of ooze, she's got the, you know, she has all the materials that he can work with, and then she just says, have fun, have a field day, my friend. So yeah. Does Salem have an aura? No, because aura is a 2nd generation trait to humans. Her generation just had straight up magic. So things like aura and semblances and dust are the byproduct of the 2nd generation being born from the dust of the 1st generation. So no. I'm going to say no. Does Salem know Ambrosius' name? Yes. You would have to assume she does, because Cinder asked Jin, what are RWBY and her friends planning? And that includes the entire plan. We didn't see the entire plan because the audience already knows, but given the fact that she saw them outside, she saw them inside, Cinder would know Ambrosius' name, and thus Cinder would tell Salem Ambrosius' name, and there you go. So, and because Cinder lied and said that the gang used up the last question, she doesn't need to know Jin's name for anything. So yeah. No, Cinder, you know why Cinder lied to Salem? Because if she didn't, she lied to Salem because she was being smart. And we'll get to that when we get there. I'll definitely mention Cinder's hand in this entire fiasco when it comes to the very end scene for sure. Also, you don't have to say Ambrosius' name to summon him, by the way. You just grab it. I don't know if you have to be thinking it or whatever, but like when Weiss grabbed it, she closed her eyes. When RWBY grabbed it, she closed her eyes. And like Cinder went back through the portal, and then the road, like the yellow brick road, if you will, was being destroyed because Cinder created the fires of Atlas that were going to kill Watts and, you know, destroy whatever evidence of them being there. So, yeah, Cinder was able to use it, but Cinder also knows Ambrosius' name. So, again, you don't have to say it. Maybe you just have to think of him. You know, because Cinder saw their entire plan. We just didn't see what she saw because that would be regurgitating what the audience already knows, and they kind of did that, but they needed to do that for the villains, so that way the villains knew what the heroes knew. So they showed us very limited sequences to imply that she knows everything that they did. So, yeah. But yeah, yeah, so this was where I was like really distraught here because I didn't want Penny to just give up. I wanted her, like, if you're going to go down, I wanted her to go down swinging instead. And I get it. It's noble. It's admirable. It comes from a good place, like, but it's also a little naive because that's what she was thinking at the beginning of the volume 2. She was like, you know, maybe I'll just go to Salem and maybe she'll call off her attack. It's like, you're almost too innocent for your own good. You know what I mean? It's just so innocent and wholesome, but also very naive. And, you know, it's just not logical. You know, like these people can't be reasoned with, and the fact that Penny holds on to that hope that if I just do this thing, maybe it'll work is, you know, it's just, again, it just kind of, it's just another aspect of her character that's likable about her. She's just a very innocent and honest and pure soul. And so yeah. Aeon Writer, thank you for the $5 super chat. Yo, been a bit since I donated. I figured tossing another one this time since listening to you in the background for these discussions is really great for my writing. Hey, I'm glad to hear that. I also love that you have writer in your name and you're also writing. So, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate that. Daniel C, thank you for the super chat as well. My question takes up 5 messages. No worries if you don't read it. Great, number 1, great finale, but I have one critique that doesn't make it beat volume finale for me. They wanted to... Oh, okay. So, like, the gore of showing death, I understand that, but,
Calm
like...
down. We're not here for your
Oh,
money.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get through all of this, buddy. I appreciate it, I do. I will try to read this. I'll read this I'll read that at the end of the stream, especially if you're gonna send 2 more. Thank you for the donations. I really do appreciate that. But I'm already an hour into the stream, goddammit, and we've barely scratched the surface. But thank you. Seriously, I really appreciate it. As well as all the super chats, I will get to those towards the end of the stream, if anything. I'm only one guy. Please, Chaircoon, help me. Read some of the donations for me while I go through this. Just joined the stream, so I don't know if anyone addressed this. Seeing as how a certain death got RWBY to record and post a reaction of you part 2 when? Yeah, I don't know about that. I definitely appreciate the fact that RWBY did that for me, and you know that was kind of an expression of them you know, towards their community. But I don't, you know, I'm not expecting it. And to be honest, I don't really feel like they need to do that. Things are a lot different too from back then, you know, from volume 3 to where they are now. They're a lot more like professional and you know, the volume's pretty much wrapped up for them. They probably want to just relax and take a break. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely appreciate the fact that they did something like that, and I definitely know that, you know, the people who are who they are watching these videos in their in their own time, you know, as their own show of support. And, you know, they'll let me know on Twitter or their streams, you know, hey, you know, I loved your videos or whatever the case might be. And yeah, I don't need RWBY to go above and beyond to show me that they appreciate or they enjoy the content that I make, because they've solidified that for me, and I appreciate that wholeheartedly. But yeah, I don't know. I can't wait until the finale discussion. Wait, I can't believe we're already at the finale discussion already. Crazy journey. Just want to say I'm voting Chair Coon Delgado 2024. Chair Coon and Arnold. Oh boy. I was half joking. I mean, I can't tell a joke in text, so yeah. 18. Thank you for the 18 though. I appreciate it. Okay, let's move on. So yeah, Penny, little naive. I will say though, I appreciate Blake fucking drop kicking the shit out of, just drop kicking like the, look, I don't know if I can grab this. Yeah, look at that. That shit's clean, dude. Like clean, just drop kicks her right in the freaking throat. She's like, that's for Yang. And you know what I don't like about this scene? Immediately after Cinder goes flying, she's like, Weiss, get up! And Weiss is like, okay, I'm getting up, but that really hurt. She's like, get up! And Weiss is like, yo, I just got freaking dropped. Can you give me a second? And you actually see Weiss like look at her like right here. She's like, okay, I'm getting up. Just 5 more minutes, please. So yeah, I kind of felt a little bad for Weiss right here. This was obviously on my second watch. I was like, oh my god, did Blake just really yell at Weiss? She's like, get up! We need all the help we can get. But yeah, that was a fucking power move right there. And then she just, cats always land on their feet. Look, it's fucking ninja.
855, you dunce.
Whoa! Ricky G09 with the, wait, Ricky G209 with the 850. Thank you for the 855, you dunce. Shout out to Weiss holding at her own this chapter. She's using Gamble Shroud. Her using Gamble Shroud was equally amazing and heartbreaking. Yeah, I didn't notice that until today when I was putting the clips together, but she was dual wielding. She was dual wielding Gamble Shroud and MurderofBirds, like hand in hand, like checkmate confirmed. Also, the last line of the episode was checkmate, so checkmate is actually confirmed in RWBY, by the way. Just saying, I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. Take that up with RWBY. I calls it like I sees it. They actually made checkmate official. Yeah, so Blake just like fucking lands with the freaking ninja cat pose and then grabs her weapon in the air like a badass. That shit was cool. And then she immediately is like, get up! It's like, checkmate, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, and then she's like, all right, let's do it. And then like Penny and Blake go up against Cinder. This is interesting too because this is the first time, I think. Let me think about it. This is the first time that Blake is fighting Cinder. Right? Because in Beacon, she fought up against Adam. And then Volume 2, she fought... Well, Volume 1, she fought Torchwick. Volume 2, she fought Torchwick. Volume 3, she fought... Well, she faced Adam. Volume 4, she was at home. Volume 5, she was... Volume 5, she faced off against Ilya. Volume 6, she faced off against Adam. Volume 7... A little bit of, like, Robin and the Aesops. And, like, now this volume, she's facing Cinder for the first time. I'm gonna mention something. I don't know if I'm gonna remember it, but remind me when we get to the scene of Blake and Cinder, like, facing off against each other. Because there is something that I observed during this chapter. Also, thank you so much to the what... Wait, I need to screenshot this. Holy shit, this is fucking Pog. Hold on. Oh my god. Okay, I got it. I got the screenshot. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. I just screenshotted my live stream stats when we had 1,337 concurrent viewers on the dot. It's elite, fam. We got the elite milestone. Let's go. Dude, that's Pog, dude. Yeah, we're at 1,400 now, so I literally screen capped it at the perfect moment. Yeah, that's definitely... I'm definitely putting that in my milestone folder. I have a milestone folder, by the way. Whenever I make, like, a certain milestone on, like, my YouTube or my Twitch, I screenshot it, and then I put it in a little folder, and it just, like, marks my progression as a creator over the years. I don't know if anybody else does that, but yeah, I do that. Because, like, I like to see my progress. As a fan of RPGs, the best part about RPGs that I love is watching the number go up, watching my character's level go up, watching my stats go up, and that's kind of like my own little, like, meta game. It's like I like seeing my subscriber count go up, my watch time, my views, obviously, as time goes on. It's also just like a really great barometer to just see engaged, like, content in general. But yeah, we got it, guys. We got the lead. Barbara Ruse. I did mention earlier, Barbara, if you're, Barbara Ruse, because you did mention if I saw your previous super chat. I'm gonna try to get through super chats, both during and after the discussion, because there's 1,400 people in here, and, like, I feel like constantly going back and forth is taking me out of my talking points and, you know, the pacing of things. So if I don't get through it during, I promise I will mention it at the end, like, no matter what. So, I will try to see yours and respond to it accordingly. I don't understand why they had to kill her off when Salem and Cinder got the relics regardless. I'm gonna miss Penny. You missed that part of the stream, Barbara. I literally talked about that at the beginning of the stream. Like, just that mindset of, because I've seen a lot of people who've expressed that sentiment of, like, it's I think the point isn't that Penny isn't alive anymore. It's what she died for, right? And it was to make a difference. It was to try. And it was a choice that she was finally able to make for the first time. I literally have like a 10-minute spiel, so I don't know if you can rewind to that part of the stream or check out the VOD after the fact. But yeah, I definitely addressed that. Oh boy, Josh. Yeah, I saw that. People are already talking about Jean has his own harem now on the beach. So seriously though, amazing finale, and this is coming from a serious critic. Hey, that's great to hear. Awesome. But yeah, I really liked this film. I mean, I liked it and hated it for obvious reasons, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think this is one of the best finales. Oh, thank you, Barbara. Yeah, I was in the shower at the beginning, but here's $10 for being awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. You didn't have to do that. I mean, you already gave 10 for the initial comment and the initial super chat, and then the second one asking me if I saw the first one. So giving me that third one kind of makes me feel bad because I could have just addressed that with the first one, but I didn't see it. No, that is not Barbara Dunkelman. Not everybody that's named Barbara is one. More than one person has the name Barbara in the world. Anyways, let us carry on. I'm so fucking mad about this part of the episode. Not because I think it was bad or anything, but Harriet's whole fucking arc. This chapter is why Vine died. I'm one of the very few people who actually liked Vine, was super interested in him when he first got introduced, wanted to see his weapon, was really pissed off, by the way, that they showed his weapon once this volume, and he did like one attack, and it missed Penny to begin with. But then, like, after all of that, he's like, I'm gonna die and pay for your fuck up because I'm your friend. And if we don't get some serious fucking development from her from that alone, I'm gonna be upset. Because Vine didn't deserve to die for that. And it's kind of like, he's already, like, here's the worst thing too, right? So we did the Oscars last year. By the way, quick little segue. On Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to be coming out with a video outlining the polls for the Oscars, for the Volume 8 Oscars. So you guys will be able to start voting on those this week. And if all things, fingers crossed, if all things go well, it'll come out the first week of May. But yes, we are doing the awards show for the Oscars again this year. And I was really upset because when we did Best Aesop last year, Vine Zeki was at the bottom and he had like 2, 3, 4, 5% of the votes. So there's a very small subset of people like myself who liked him. He got no love, no showcase, nothing in volume 7. And then this volume, they give him a few lines here and there. You know, they show him fighting. Yeah, so last volume 2, he also got like freaking obliterated by Blake and Yang, which was a really cool sequence. That's like one of my favorite sequences in the volume was Blake and Yang, like Blake and Yang comboing their attacks, and then Yang just like double spin dropping him onto the floor. That's like one of the coolest like action sequences of the series for me. But yeah, I think this act from Vine is what's gonna give people a lot of newfound respect for him, despite the fact that he wasn't the most notable character. He wasn't on screen a lot. He didn't have the most dialogue. I feel like most people probably forgot who he was, but because of doing something like this, after a character who's been infuriating us for the longest time, like, I honestly think all of the aggression and anger that we have for Harriet is immediately going to convert to, like, sympathy and respect for Vine for paying for her mistakes. At least I hope so. Because, yeah, I mean, he saved any people that are down there still trying to get through the portal. and like he saved all of them. So yeah, I just don't. It's like she kept doing this, but the second she remembered, the second they were like, "We're your friends, we're trying to get through to you," she's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, by the way, we're all about to die." So yeah, I'm not happy about Vine dying because that felt very avoidable. It felt so, and he was trying to get through her last chapter because he cared. Yeah, I really hope, right? Because now there's 3 of them, right? Clover's dead and Vine's dead, right? There's Marrow, there's Elm, and there's Vine. So now there's only 3 Aesops. And one of them, you know, one of them died and that affected Harriet. And now another one of them died because of Harriet. So that's going to affect her. I hope it affects her twice over, where she apologizes to Crow and to the other 2, because now they're like another member short, that they have to remember them and care that they lost them, instead of like, oh, when your friends die, you move on. I'll be fucking livid if you move on after this. Yeah, I meant Harriet. Sorry. I'm literally just in a frenzy right now, and I'm not thinking straight. Ugh. But yeah. Yeah, they went from... what is it? They went from the 5 Aesops to the... I don't know. I'm trying to think of numbers that relate to certain things, because I was going to say the 5 Aesops, the 4... No, because it's 3 Musketeers, it's 3 Amigos, it's Three's company, it's all these other, like, 3 is the magic number in this case. So I guess they had to kill off 2 of them. 6 at first, actually, because of Tortuga. No. There was always 5 Aesops. Marrow replaced Tortuga because Tortuga died. So there's always been 5. I did see one of these. I did see something, though, that people want, and I kind of want this, too. If everyone's going to Vacuo, it's going to be really hot there, so we're going to need new outfits and stuff like that. I want to see Marrow with his hair down, and I want to see Elm with her hair down, and with new outfits in Vacuo. Like, I demand that. Actually, you know what? I own Rooster Teeth. We're doing that. I'm making it happen, guys. Volume 10 is going to be the Vacuo arc, so it's either going to be Volume 10 or Volume 11, but they're going to have their hair down. They're going to have new outfits and clothes. I'm making an executive... I need to buy a gavel so I can just be like, it's the motion passes. And, yeah, so we're cooking up some good things for you guys. Also... really quick, I completely forgot to mention this because I only mentioned it on Twitter. So I don't know if you... Yo, this is fucking pog, dude. This is so cool. So I don't know if any of you guys know who this is, but it's a friend of mine in the community. Her name is Erin. Her YouTube account is Puns of Damage, and she's done reactions to RWBY and like Red vs. Blue, and I believe like Nomad of Nowhere and Camp and all this other stuff, I think. But so she's someone who does like RWBY content, and she's been going to school for animation for the last 4 years now. I actually met her for the first time. We met each other for the first time at my first RTX 2016, and we became really good friends there. And every year we see each other at RTX, we catch up, we get dinner, we hang out, and we try to keep in touch, online here and there. So she made the announcement on Twitter that she is officially a part of the RWBY as a junior animator. And yeah, so she's posting her last reaction to RWBY ever onto her channel this weekend. Again, her username is Puns of Damage on Twitter. I'm sorry, Puns of Damage on YouTube. And I believe her Twitter is like Don't You Darin, which is pretty spot on for her pun game. But yeah, so she's on the RWBY. She's going to be animating for Volume 9. She's already she already knows everything about Volume 9, by the way. I am so I'm so happy for her. Like, I'm truly like, on it. Like, she's been busting her ass off on like at school for like the last 4 years, and like it clearly has paid off in the end. And now a company that she started following, you know, from Red versus Blue, a show like RWBY, inspired her to become an animator, and she's worked her ass off these last 4 years, and now she's where she originally, like, where she set her sights on, which is, you know, a part of the RWBY, being able to kind of go from being a fan to a creator of the show. I think that's so freaking wholesome. I think that's so great. I'm so happy for her. And yeah, so she tweeted about it. She was like, yeah, so I watched the volume 8 finale, and then 12 hours later, I got approved, I got confirmed, you know, I got the job at Rooster Teeth to be an animator, and then they caught me up on everything with volume 9, so she knows everything that's gonna happen for volume 9, and the only thing she teased was, y'all ain't ready for this, and I'm like, can you imagine knowing that shit before anybody, and you just can't tell them? Absolutely crazy. So I'm like super happy for her. Obviously she can't do reactions for RWBY anymore, so it's kind of like she's sacrificing one thing, but she's gaining so much more, because that new experience for her is going to be working on the show and then seeing what the community thinks and just seeing the community's reaction. It's going to be like a completely different environment for her. Oh, yes, I apologize. Yeah, yeah, her pronouns are they, them. I apologize. I have to get used to that. But yeah, so I'm just happy, and I hope that things work out. I just can't imagine, like, I'm jealous of the fact that someone that I've known for so long now works at RWBY, and they know something about RWBY that I don't know when I've been caught up on the show since day one. It's just so crazy. It's like a happy jealousy thing, because it's like, yeah, I just want to know what volume 9 is, because it's so confusing. Like, the end credit scene, it's like we have nothing to go off of. Just simply speculations for the next year. All right, let's see. Let's see. Hold on, I'm just reading chat really quick. Oh, is Erin here, actually? Someone in chat said that she's here. I'm so sorry. I have to get used to that. I really do apologize. Oh my god. It's a learning experience for me. Like, I have to like rewire my brain. I apologize, Erin. Congratulations. I mean, I've known Erin for years, so I mean, no disrespect whatsoever. It's literally a learning experience, and I'm absolutely happy. I can't see. I can't see where they are. I need to clarify. Oh, yeah. Not Aaron Zek, by the way. That's going to be a bunch of... Like, we had that in the chat earlier. Someone was like... There was another person in the chat, Barbara, and someone was like, wait, Barbara Dunkelman's in here? I'm like, there's more than one Barbara in the world. Okay. Long story short, I don't like that Vine had to die for Harriet's mistake. I really liked him as a character. I thought it was badass. Also, I think we got like a glimpse of like what, like the true nature of Crow's semblance. And there have been theories about this for a while. But I don't think, like, so like people think like, wait a minute, Clover helped out Crow. I think, and there've already been theories about this for a while, but it's kind of like confirmed now. But Vine peeled like an orange? Okay. Yeah, that weird thing was, I was like, wait, what is he doing? And then when it covered, I was like, oh, okay, so he's gonna contain the blast from within his aura. But yeah, so I think what's happening is not the fact that Crow has bad luck, but I think what happened in that moment was that he had like a paradigm shift. So the entire, like, Crow has always considered himself bad luck. So it's kind of like the energy you put out is the energy you'll get back. Right? If he's like a woe is me, nothing goes my way, drinking makes things worse, my friends all leave me, like doom and gloom, you know, the sky's falling, all that stuff. If that's the energy he's putting out there in the world, then karma is going to deliver what you put out. It's almost like the law of attraction. So I think in this moment he like had a leap of faith, like I need to believe. And in that moment, with a little help from, you know, with a little, like, I guess, motivation of Clover, it shifted that karma alignment to where I don't think it's bad luck. I don't really know the term. Someone in chat, it's a matter of perspective. Someone in chat, I think, had like the perfect answer for that. But yeah, it was kind of like, he's kind of like influencing his luck, but it's not like good luck or bad luck. I saw someone in chat give like say the perfect thing, and I glanced at it. Probability manipulation? Oh, hold on a sec. There we go. Aaron, if you're still in chat, I've made you a mod so I can see you better. And again, congratulations on the junior animation position. I know you're going to absolutely kill it. I'm really happy for you. Unlimited power? Yeah, well, you know what they say. With great power comes great responsibility. Please don't. Please don't abuse it. Just kidding. Oh, you have your first shot next week? Yo, let's go. Oh, I'm so happy for you. I'm so jealous, but I'm happy. I'm gonna pop off when I see your name in the credits. That's gonna be so freaking cool to see. I'm gonna be like, I know them. We met at RTX. But yeah, that's gonna be so great. I'm happy for you. Oh yeah, Tacoma, is Tacoma going with you? I hope so. Yeah, and then Watch just sets off the bomb, by the way. So, you know, he's still doing his thing. I just can't with Harriet. I really can't. So again, this shot right here with RWBY was really great too. It's really hard to notice, but she's got like tears in her eyes right there. Like her sister just died, and from her perspective, her sister just bit the big one. So, you know, she met her maker. She's at the end of her road. Like, what were all these, like, these lines, I don't know, these, like, she bit the big one. You've met your maker. End of the line. Yeah, she's dead, basically. Yeah, I guess it's just fortune. Yeah, Phoenix Knight called it fortune, and that Clover's outlook granted him good fortune while Crow granted him misfortune. Yeah, exactly. So it's almost like karma. Again, you get what you put out is what you get back. And if you're gonna be a negative Nancy, then that's all the stuff. That's all you're gonna attract back to you. But if you're optimistic, if you're positive, if you are hopeful and all that stuff, I don't know how that's going to work with him now, because by the end of the chapter, it looked like he assumes that RWBY and company are dead or MIA or not around. So yeah, there's that to consider as well. But yeah, I love this entire season. So here's the thing. It's going to be so hard for them to convey, like, or for Neo to convey what she's saying, what she's thinking, what she's feeling. with everything that's been going on with her revenge plot for RWBY, because she doesn't talk, right? So like RWBY doesn't know why Neo's fighting her. All she knows is that Neo's bad. Like Neo helped Torchwick and now she's just aligning with Cinder. But she doesn't know what Neo's motivation is, which I think the motivation is that you are responsible for Roman dying. Cinder told me so. And so you were the last person that was with him before I got Mary Poppins. So I feel like if she could have just, if RWBY could have just been like, I don't know why you're, like if RWBY just like implied that, like, I don't know why you're fighting me. I don't know what Cinder told you. But we didn't kill Torchwick or whatever. I felt like that would have given her pause enough to reconsider. But now that Cinder basically made the choice, like just basically made that declaration of you're no longer useful to me, I don't need you anymore, get lost, and now they're gonna all be together next volume, I think that's where it's really gonna matter most. I also just liked this entire fight sequence. Like Neo is just like running circles around RWBY. It's so sad, and it's consistent too, because that's the same exact outcome that happened for volume 3 when it was RWBY versus Neo. And then it was it was Neo and Torchwick versus RWBY. So yeah, I mean, the fight sequence is great. RWBY is kind of holding her own, but she's just getting, the scythe too is just such a massive like hindrance, I think, to her. Not her fighting style. I mean, that's how she fights, but it's so easy for Neo to counter. You know, and then Weiss, I feel like Weiss has claimed ownership of the staff, and Brosius is probably like, what the fuck is going on out there? Like, this staff is being flipped around, kicked, thrown, used as a weapon, and he's probably like, can I get some peace and quiet? Like, I'm trying to relax over here, and y'all are just making a ruckus. So, I don't even know what I don't know how life works inside of a lamp, or inside of a staff, or whatever, but I think that's really, really funny.
Calm down. Not
oh boy. Let's see. This message is the third part. You also deserve to support, and my message only adds up to 50. So again, no worries about not responding. No, Daniel C, I'm going to respond. It's just there's a massive influx of your messages, and then super chat, and then regular chat, and then me going through the conversation. So I do appreciate it, but at the end of the day, I do also want to make sure that I stay on tabs with everything. Let's see. So I promise I will get to that, if anything, by the end of the stream. Oh boy. Let's see. Honestly, I don't feel Neo is going to have a redemption arc at this point in time. She has never shown any remorse for her actions. I feel she may meet her end next volume because she can't move on from Roman's death. I don't think so. I think she's a tool. She's being used. She doesn't know the truth. And once she knows the truth, she'll actually be able to align herself properly with what she's doing. Now, yeah, she's definitely killed people. She's relished in the things that she's doing. But her new motivation is going to be now, I'm still going to kill people. It's just going to be, she's a third party. I don't think she's going to align herself to join Team RWBY like Emerald did. I think she's going to make a choice for herself. She's going to go away for a little bit. And when the moment is right, she's going to come back into the picture. I honestly think that Neo might actually become the Summer Maiden. And this makes a lot of sense, right? So, as a kid, what's the best part of the summertime besides summer vacation, right? Ice cream at the beach with the boys, right? What's the best time to have ice cream? Summertime. How the hell is Neo going to be able to combat against Cinder? She needs to become a maiden. So, I honestly think whoever this Summer Maiden is eventually going to be killed by Neo or transfer her power to Neo, and then Neo in turn, or if she gets killed off, maybe Neo will befriend her or come cross paths with her, and if the Summer Maiden dies, she'll have Neo in her final thoughts, or Neo will kill the Summer Maiden preemptively, and then turn her sights on having a Maiden versus Maiden fight with Cinder, and I think that's where Neo might die. I think Cinder is going to be saved for the very end. I honestly think that Cinder might very well actually become, because let's just say the gods deal with Salem, right? Let's just say the gods come back, they judge humanity, they're like, all right, y'all are unified technically to face off against Salem, who was our original failure, our problem that we left here on your doorstep. So we're going to take care of her. She can finally die now. Ozpin can finally die now. Oh, you guys don't want us living amongst you anymore? Okay, fine, cool. Enjoy Remnant. Peace. We're out of here. And then it's just Cinder that they have to deal with, who at that point will probably already have all 4 maiden powers, maybe some relics, who knows. But I really do think that Cinder might actually be the final villain. Not because she'll be able to overthrow Salem or anything like that, but because they might turn things around a little bit, and I don't know. But I do think we'll get another maiden versus maiden fight, which it's been really cool getting these, right? We got it with Cinder and Raven. We got it with Cinder and Winter. Cinder needs to go up against the Summer Maiden because she wants all 4 of these powers for herself. And I think Winter is now safe for a little bit, right? Because you have Raven as a maiden, you have Winter as a maiden, and those 2 corresponding maidens, their relics are already taken. So the only reason why you would want them, or would want their maiden powers, is for more power. And the only way you're going to get them is if you kill off the currently existing characters. But I don't know. I don't know if they'll kill Raven and Winter and another character in order for Salem to get all the power, or for Cinder to get all the power for themselves. But I do think at the very least, the only way that Neo is going to be able to compete is if she becomes a maiden. And the only way that's going to happen is with this unclaimed 4th maiden that we haven't gotten yet. So that's what I'm kind of implying. I actually thought it was going to be Neo that became the Winter Maiden, right? Because Neo, Ice Cream, Winter, you know, like cold, it kind of all goes together. But now I'm looking at it from a different perspective of like, well, Ice Cream is the best in the summertime, and she needs to be a maiden in order to be able to go toe-to-toe with Cinder if she wants this revenge for her being betrayed again, and also being kind of like used and abused. So I think that's probably going to be the best course of action for her. I'm not saying that she's going to join Team RWBY. I don't think that's what's actually happening. I just think that she's going to become a third party. And instead of her deciding to kill RWBY and company, she's going to be like, okay, especially if they explain to her Torchic situation and how he died in the Fall of Beacon and what's happened since then and how Cinder has spun the story. If she gets the full picture, she'll be good. And then at that point, you move on and you figure out what the next course of action is with her. I actually do think she's going to become the maiden. She's going to become a maiden. She's going to fight against Cinder, but Cinder's going to beat her. Or I don't know if beat her, like, 'cause I want Neo to actually get like a few good hits in, right? Like actually like leave Cinder like battered and bruised, like damaged, like leave her with some scars that'll last. If you're going to go down swinging, because you're going to become a target as well for the relic. If you become that maiden. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Hey, what's up, Dan? All right, give me 1 second. Okay. Cinder's not going to kill Raven. How did that work out last time? Here's the thing, though. Cinder's going to go back for round 2 once she gets at least another maiden power, because then that's going to completely outrank Raven, right? Cinder needs... If Cinder gets another maiden power, I guarantee you she's going to go back to Raven. Like, I'll fucking call that right now. Like, if Cinder gets another maiden power, she's going to be feeling herself, and she's going to want round 2, and she's going to be smarter, stronger, and she'll be able to kind of, like, learn from the mistakes of Volume 5, because she was super cocky. That's literally why she literally thought she can 2v1, and she thought she was talking shit to Raven that whole time, and Raven got the drop on her. So yeah, I do think the question is, who's the maiden, the Summer Maiden? We haven't seen them yet. None of us know. We the only thing we probably know for certain is that they're in Vacuo, but we have not seen them yet. At least not in the show. Maybe in the books. Maybe if the maiden exists, I wouldn't be surprised if they're debuted early in the books, but like alluded to, like the character exists, we just don't know who they truly are yet. Yeah. Also, I just want to say, guys, I know that Aaron is technically RWBY, but don't pressure them into asking any type of questions regarding the show or anything, because I don't want them to get in trouble. And so, or I don't want them to feel like they can't be here because, you know, they don't want to be caught in the crossfires of asking questions and stuff like that. I'm not saying that you were, Momo. I'm just putting out that statement because I know that could muddy the waters of anything like that. No, I know you won't spoil anything, Aaron. I just don't want people to feel like, yeah, I just don't want you to feel uncomfortable in chat after that. Not saying anything. I just feel comfortable putting that statement out there in case anyone needs to hear it or needs a reminder. So, yeah. I've been given gremlin energy. Yeah, I mean, teasing is fine. Teasing is fun. But yeah. Justin Zimmerman, how's it going, bud? Thank you for the $20 super chat. No way, Emerald will be the summer maiden. Think color schemes of the maidens plus Cinder versus Emerald. You're great, by the way. I appreciate your content immensely. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate your support immensely as well. I don't think, well, because whoever becomes the maiden, that's an immediate death flag. And the show has been very consistent with the fact that, yeah, if you're a maiden, your ass is dying. Unless you're Raven, which again, Raven is off to the side, kind of like, you know, she's put on the back burner right now. But Penny, Freya, Amber, this fourth maiden that we're gonna go towards in Vacuo, I feel like whoever becomes the maiden is gonna have a target on their back for Cinder, no matter who it is, right? I expect Winter to have a rematch, and I just don't know how. If she can, and another thing too, can Cinder siphon the magic without killing the host? Because we haven't seen that yet. She fatally wounded Penny, right? She fatally wounded her, and Penny chose to go out so that way the power, because she didn't have, there was no time. Jean could have healed her, but there was no time to guarantee that Cinder wouldn't get the power and the relic. So they had to cut that short. I just don't know. Like, Emerald can do so much. Emerald can't beat Cinder, but I don't think it's Emerald's duty to defeat Cinder herself. I really don't. I think it's ultimately going to be Ruby in the end, but you'll have, like, people who will want, like, a piece of Cinder as well, like Neo. Emerald might assist, but I don't think Emerald's the one that's going to, is the one that's going to kill her. At least I don't think so, personally. So. Armadillola, how's it going? Thank you for the super chat. Hey Arnold, hope you're well. This episode came out at 4 a.m. my time, and I literally woke my flatmate up screaming and oh my god. I feel so bad for those of you who don't like live in the States, who like RWBY comes out at like outlandish hours for you guys, and unless you want to get spoiled on social media, you basically got to wake up at the crack of dawn in order to watch it. Jesus Christ. Oh boy, oh boy. Hey, don't worry, Brandon. I saw your super chat. I'm literally struggling here to keep up. I apologize. Let's see. Imagine Neo talks using her semblance, like making letters in the air, or imagine that she's trying to convey with her glass illusion. She concealed a whole ship, so she could create illusionary messages. That'd be kind of cool, honestly. I don't want Neo to talk ever, personally. Yo, Kiba, what's up, dude? Thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Struggles from across the pond. Yo, true. Actually. Ruby Chibi-san? Yeah, she's just going to pull a Wile E. Coyote. She's just going to have... I mean, she writes messages on her scroll, right? I'm pretty sure that's how she told Cinder about Jin. Like, I'm not even saying that pretty much. That's how she told her. She told her via text message. So, I don't know. I don't know if... do scrolls work in this alternate dimension? Is electricity a thing? Like, I don't even know if semblances or aura or any of that type of shit works in this alternate dimension. We don't even know if, like, Grimm are here or anything. It looks very tranquil and peaceful and all that. So yeah. I also got a crazy theory at the end of the end credit scene, and it's rooted in a little bit of already established lore. But because there's like a divide in the community, like some people know about it and some people don't, it's gonna be kind of like a learning lesson for all of you guys as well. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be getting to that towards the end Maiden exists, RWBY, and I took that personally. Yeah, I mean, that it is what it is. But yeah. Yeah, this was okay. So this is the scene that I was reminded of. Okay, so this scene, okay, hold on. Let me emphasize it. So it's the top scene right here with Blake and Cinder. So Blake reacts to the fire in a very peculiar way. So like Blake reacts to the fire like, ah, that hurts, don't get close to it. And Jean and Weiss do the same thing, which makes me wonder if the Maiden magic is like super, not, I don't want to say super effective, but almost like negates aura. Cause like it's magic, and aura and semblances are a semblance of the original magic of like the first generation. So I wonder if it's like, it's amplified to like, how, I'm trying to word this. Like the way they react to the fire makes it seem like, yeah, this is magic. Like I can't fuck with this the same way I can with a normal attack because it's completely different. It's just really hot fire. I mean, that's her whole semblance thing too, like the super heat. But like Blake reacts to it that way. Jean reacts to it that way. Weiss reacts to it that way. And so I was just curious. I'm like, does her fire have special properties that also Weiss lost? Like Weiss lost her aura, and Weiss was just getting beaten down this entire chapter with no aura. So like Weiss was like actually taking them blows after like her whole team died. Someone in chat said, but man's not hot. That was funny. Super hot fire, but she's not a rapper. Zuri Zuli, I hope I said that right. Ayo, sir, just wanted to say, while I'm normally a bit critical of RWBY, but your penny jar analogy was 10 out of 10. Hey, I appreciate that. Also, Summer Maiden's true identity, Roxas? Question mark? Oh, boy. Oh, I get it. Looks like my summer vacation's over. Ah, clever. I appreciate a Kingdom Hearts reference in my chat. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for the super chat as well. Zach Feifel, I really hope to see... I really hope that you saw my Patreon comment about Cinder's brilliance in this volume. I mean, there were a lot of comments. I definitely have to get back to some of them, Zach. But yeah, Cinder's been great, especially how she lied and how she like kind of covered her tracks at the end of the chapter, which I'm gonna get to that as well. But yeah, Cinder's been making a lot of. I mean, she's kind of regressed a little bit, especially during this chapter with some of the things that I felt like she would have done prior to that little pep talk from Watts. But at the same time, she's kind of, I mean, she's thinking a lot more critically about the things that she's doing, and I hope she keeps it up because this is a Cinder that I'm excited to see, you know? Oh my God, I love, like, Neo is such a great fighter. Also, the Blake clip is still like frozen in time. So yeah. Also, if you guys notice here, if you freeze frame this clip ever so slightly, like Cinder actually does like probably like the fucking hardest fucking whip I've ever seen in my life. So if you look carefully, look, it's coming in, and boom, there you go. She's burning that dance floor. That's what all the fire's for. I noticed that on Twitter, and I had to showcase that because that was really funny. But yeah, and she did it. She served like, Blake, you've just been served. Yeah, I thought that was really funny. Yeah, absolute flames, like nothing but fire on the dance floor. But yeah, I love Neo, man. Like this I really wish I had slowed down this just so I can see the choreography being done here. But like, the coolest part about this whole thing for Neo is how quick, so she hits her with the umbrella and then she opens it and it throws the relic up. I think that shit was so smooth. Look at that. that's like buttery smooth the way that turned out. I really like, I'm like, I don't know, that's just super satisfying to see. And it's so quick. And again, Crescent Rose just hinders RWBY so much, man. It's just this giant hulking piece of metal that just is so sluggish for her to maintain. Meanwhile, Neo's just like flipping and flopping and twisting and turning and jumping and hopping and opening her umbrella and parasailing and gliding, and she's just so graceful and elegant and nimble compared to like like, just look at this. Look at RWBY this whole time. She's like, ugh. Like, you know, she's like, you can feel the weight of Crescent Rose during it. There's nothing she can do. And then her other hand's preoccupied with the relic. Oversized gardening tool. Yeah, fucking Torchwick was right. Yeah. I mean, she's completely outclassed. I'm not out here expecting RWBY to go toe-to-toe with Neo of all characters. So it's understandable. But it's also just very painful to watch that, you know, I don't know. RWBY, I think, I was gonna say RWBY might need an upgrade, but I couldn't do that to Crescent Rose. I think RWBY just needs to get a little bit more creative with how she fights. Or maybe actually go back to the drawing board and not spend an entire volume learning how to headbutt a character and actually do a little fisticuffs, because your ass definitely needs it, especially when you're without your freaking weapon. And I get it. That's the part of, you know, you got to give these characters flaws. You got to make them, you don't want to make them completely perfect, but boy, there's a reason why she screamed when Crescent Rose fell, because she was like, I'm screwed. You know, against Neo of all characters, who's also trying to kill me. So yeah, I just hope that works out down the road, because like a bunch of these characters don't have their weapons anymore. Like Jean doesn't have his weapon. RWBY has to find her weapon on the beach. I mean, Yang still has her weapons. Blake's like ribbon of her weapon is cut off. I mean, she's probably got like 1 million of those back at home, or like in her backpack or something. And so, yeah. Jean needs another weapon now, or a new weapon rather. And I'm going to talk about that too, because that's actually really ridiculous. Oh boy. This is not Vine. Oh, like this isn't Vine? I'm sorry, but we have to do it to him. We got to kill Vine again. Realize that you got